We are back, episode 96. So close to 100.
Saw the email today, or maybe it was yesterday. Anne's letting us come in there. We're gonna throw that 100th episode right in the store, like we did last year for the 50th episode.
I think we're gonna do a $250 gift card for a putting contest and $250 for closest to the pin. Just try to give more people an option instead of everybody just crowded around the sim.
Yeah, what's the stipulation for the putting contest? Are we gonna do like a knockout thing or like?
I don't know. I hadn't decided. I don't know what makes sense. I guess number one rule, you have to stay.
Yeah.
You have to stay
to be crowded.
Available, yeah. It might be, that line we putted for the Vice ad, that hard line. You might get
about 3 different
2
breaks
putts.
In it. Yeah.
If you make one, I don't know, you get a ticket. If you make one, you get a second chance. If you make 2, you get a ticket.
Yeah,
I don't know, something like that. But it'll be at Moon Golf.
Yeah, luckily this is free for anybody listening. This will be in the next, 3 weeks maybe?
April 30th is the date.
Okay.
That
April
Tuesday, 30th. I guess, 5 o'clock Central, 6 Eastern.
Yeah.
Be the last real hour that Moon is open.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we'll get some other goodies from Moon Golf.
They got some good stuff down there. While we're talking about them, we might as well tell everybody about all the good stuff in the store, all the good people that work there. And we were talking about the Auburn location. That's the one nearest to us. They also have 2 other locations in Florida. I think we still need to get down there and take a visit, see all the people down there. And I know their hospitality is just as good as everybody else's.
And here we go.
Who's our guest tonight, too?
Our guest is Michael. I think he misspelled his name on the thing, but Michael Shears with an extra A in there. But that's a Georgia education. Started his career at Vanderbilt, played 4 years, then went to Georgia as a grad assistant. And he's got a national championship under him. That's the Georgia dog in you, or that was just an accident?
I was just flustered. I was just trying to get everything figured out.
So if you're watching this now, I'm Zach. Brady's in the green hat, and
Brady.
Our guest Michael with the AGNC Golf Club hoodie on is Michael.
Well, guys, looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. Brady's our resident journalist, so he's going to start with any questions.
Yeah, so I just kind of did a brief little highlight looking at some of your college statistics and all that stuff a minute ago. But one thing that stood out to me, you recently played in a Korn Ferry Tour Q School event. How was that compared to playing in college events? You were playing against people that were trying to qualify for to make the big tour.
For sure, it was different. I mean, I think you're playing college golf, especially at a top level, you're playing a lot of really, really good golf courses against a lot of really, really good players. And, it doesn't matter. Everybody wants to play good, but if you have a bad week, it's not a big deal. When you go to Q school, if you have a bad week, you have to wait an entire year to try again. And so that was my first time going through Q school in the fall, and I was lucky enough to win my pre-qualifier. And then I missed in first stage, but I didn't feel like I played that bad. I was 8 under going into the final round, and I shot 2 over to end up missing by 6, which 8 under was on the number going into the final round. So I would have had to shoot 66 in the final round. But I think it's a great example of, I went and played solid for pretty much the entirety of Q school and wasn't even close to getting through first stage.
That guy, there's an account on Twitter or Instagram or something like that posts all these crazy stories all the time about Q schools, their rounds and some of the tournaments, final winning scores and stuff like that. And you'll see some crazy numbers through just 2 or 3 rounds. It's 14, 15 under. And I mean, you have to be playing your absolute best golf. I mean, insane golf.
For sure. I think when you get to, kind of the level beyond college, sure, there are a ton of guys playing college golf today that are very capable of like showing up to a tour event. And I think you saw it with Nick Dunlap and winning. Like there are a lot of dudes with a lot of talent, but I think when you get to kind of what I'm doing right now with the mini tour stuff, and like you've talked about with Monday Q posting a lot of these results from, whether it's a one-off tournament or from a tour, like, guys are going to figure out, what makes them tick, in college. And then when you turn pro, like a lot of these courses that we're playing now aren't nearly as good as the courses we play in college. They're not as hard. They're not in as good of condition. And a lot of times you're going to see a lot of really, really low scores because of that. And so if you don't show up with your A game and have a little bit of luck, like it's tough to win. Like somebody in the field is going to play great every single week.
Yeah.
Do you think when you play like the dog track type courses, it makes you appreciate the level of course that you get when you're in college or on like the big events?
Oh, 100%. We were so spoiled. I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, I played college golf tournaments at Pebble Beach, played a college golf tournament at Eagle Point, which is in Wilmington, North Carolina. They hosted the Wells Fargo the year the PGA was at Quail Hollow. Played 2 tournaments at Shoal Creek. So, and, there's more. The list goes on. But every time you show up to one of those events, like they've got the course in tip-top shape for you. And then you play these mini tour events. And, I'm not knocking the courses that have us because without those courses, like we don't have a tour. But it's definitely not what you see in top level college golf. And it took a little bit of adjusting, like, to I guess kind of get used to like, okay, this is the new norm. But at the same time, like it is what you make of it. Like if you go into it with a bad attitude, like you're going to be miserable. But if you kind of accept the fact that, okay, I'm going to hit a fairway and I'm going to have a bad lie somewhere, or the greens might be rolling 7 this week, or, there's fairway and then it's just dirt. There's no rough. Like that's just part of it. Like everybody's got to play the same golf course. So if you're going to sit there and have a bad attitude about it, you're already behind the 8 ball. You might as well just go see what you can do.
I always heard for guys like me and Brady, you play because most of our courses are similar to that, especially like one of our home courses, Point. It's fairway, very little cut, and then dirt. And then when you go to the nice course, the greens are receptive. It's like
Right.
everything, it makes the small parts of your game really show up that don't show up when you're playing the lesser courses.
100%. I've also noticed too, and this is probably a little bit more just because of the region I'm playing in down here in Florida, but a lot of these courses you play, it is fairway and then there's a little bit of rough and then the ball's just gone. Like if you're either going to be in the fairway or you're re-teeing or taking a drop because you've hit it in a hazard or something. And again, that's like probably more the nature of the area I'm in. But when you play all these, top 100 courses in college golf that are designed to host championships, they're big golf courses on big pieces of property. And sure, you've got to hit fairways and you're going to be penalized if you miss, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be re-teeing if you hit driver 5 yards left of the fairway.
It's not like Bay Point where you're cutting through neighborhoods. And if you miss, you might be in someone's backyard.
No, right. But like the stuff that I'm playing in right now is a lot like that.
So if you come off a hole 5 at Bay Point, you might meet Michael.
You better hit that fairway and then the green. Because if you don't, you're in the bay.
What do you think the highlight of your college career was, whether it be at Vandy or Georgia, outside of, obviously being on the national championship squad's great, but is there another like highlight round?
Man, that's tough. So, and I think you may have it a little bit wrong. So we never won a national championship when I was at Vandy. Now, Gordon Sargent, he did win individually.
Oh,
so,
gotcha. Okay.
So we made it to the Final Four. So we made it to the semifinals in match play 2 of the years I was on the team. And the year that I played out there at Greyhawk, we lost in the quarterfinals to Oklahoma State. But I would have to say just like that stretch my junior year postseason was probably like the highlight. And I didn't necessarily like play amazing. I played solid golf, but we won the SEC championship, which I was the alternate for, so didn't play, but I was down there as a sub, so I was on property. So we won SECs, and then we hosted a regional at Golf Club of Tennessee, which is one of my favorite golf courses in the world. It's 25 minutes from where I grew up in Nashville, and I got to play in that, and then won that and got to go play at Greyhawk in the national championship, and just getting to experience that was unbelievable. We went out there a couple of days early, played some golf. And then once the girls finished up, we got on property, and then we played 6 straight days of golf. We went practice round and then 72 holes of stroke play. And this is in May in Arizona. It's hot.
Yeah.
And then turn around after the final round of stroke play, and you play Oklahoma State at 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. And we ended up losing, but it was so much fun. And I was so glad that I got to do that one year. And obviously would have loved to have done it all 4. But when you got a lot of good players, it's just tough to make the lineup sometimes. And, I think it made me better because of it. But, man, I really, really appreciated finally getting to go out there and just experience kind of that level of golf, because guys are showing up there with their best stuff, and it's a great golf course. And that's when the lights are the brightest, and it's just a lot of fun.
Do you think years like that – I was going to say, do you think years like that really helped for now where you're at?
Yeah,
chasing?
100%. And I look back at that, and I played Eugenio Shikara in match play. So he was the guy that I had from Oklahoma State, and he had me 3 down through 11, I think. And, I didn't, and I don't say this in a bad way, but I didn't really know who he was. And I got paired against him, and a couple of my teammates were like, you just got to go out there and fight. And I was like, who even is this guy? And I didn't mean that in an arrogant way. I literally just didn't know who he was. We didn't play that many tournaments with Oklahoma State. And so he had me 3 down through 12, and I win 13, 14, he had me 3 down through 11. I went 12, 13, and then hit it to 20 feet on 14. And he's got it in there 8 feet for birdie. And I was like, if I miss and he makes, I'm 2 down with 4 to play. That's not good. And I make it, and he misses. So I squared the matchup, and I'll never forget that putt. But it was just you put all the work in, and to see one go in a situation like that. And he ended up beating me on 17, but I'll never forget that little stretch of golf. And I can carry that with me to tournaments now, and just know that if you keep hanging in there, something is going to happen good for you at some point. You just got to keep grinding.
Yeah.
So you got that dog in you.
A lot of the times I would like to think so, but definitely we all have our days. So
yeah, I was thinking about asking you the same thing, similar to how your team was stacked at Vanderbilt when you were there. I mean, you talk about Gordon Sargent; he was #1 amateur for pretty much the whole time at Vandy, and I feel like having to fight against people like that just to get a spot to play had to have made you have that dog in you just to get a spot.
Oh, it was great. And I always kind of had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder too, just because I never was the top junior golfer. I never did win a bunch of college events. I never won a college event. Hardly even finished. I finished top 5 once and top 10, I think twice, maybe 3 times. But you show up to qualifying. I showed up to qualifying my junior year. It was our first qualifier of the fall, and I had to shoot 23 under just to make the lineup. And I did. I had to win the qualifier to make the lineup because we had 4 guys exempt, and it took 23 under to get it done. And just getting to play against guys like that day in and day out goes a long way, because now I can sit here and say, okay, well, sure, Gordon Sargent is better at golf than me, but I've competed with him. I've competed with, I guess now, or I was teammates with 2 guys that have played in the Masters. Another guy's got his PGA Tour card. A couple of them are playing PGA Tour Americas. So I've been there day in and day out with those guys. And so I think it gives you confidence, to go out in these mini tour events and say, okay, I may not have my best stuff this week, but I've played against the best and I know what it takes and I can do that, versus maybe not really knowing or not having the experience of playing with some guys like that on a day-to-day basis and really understanding what it takes.
Is that how you felt when we played you? You're like,
that's what I was about to ask. I was going to ask.
Absolutely.
Whenever, go ahead.
I was say, looking at him, I'm still hurt from that putt he made.
I can't. You making that putt was awesome.
I went back and watched your putt, and originally I thought it was a pretty easy putt, and then I watched it, the one you had to make, and I was like, it had a lot of break in it, and he just never left the center of the cup.
I was due to make one.
Yeah. Sick.
I haven't seen any of that footage yet, but from what I could tell, it was a pretty intense match, and you could definitely tell that after seeing some of the text messages, the boys were hurt after the match.
It came down to the wire. It was playing tough. It was super, super windy, not playing very easy. And, obviously Casey made a 20 footer or whatever on 18 to potentially tie the match. And Jay had hit a greenside bunker shot in there to about 8 feet for birdie. And, I was lucky enough to roll it in. But it was tight. There was never a lead of more than maybe a hole or two.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole match. It was pretty kind of back and forth the whole way. So we had a good time.
I was wondering, on 18, y'all took that bunker shot in the bunker instead of y'all had one in the fairway just further back. Did y'all do that just because y'all wanted it to be a potential playoff, or y'all thought it was a better shot?
No, it was definitely a better spot to be. So that hole was downwind. And so it was going to be like a 50-ish yard pitch shot. And just with the way that pin was on that green, it was going to be a lot easier to get that bunker shot close. You had more green to work with. And so I would take that bunker shot 10 times out of 10 before I would take the wedge shot there. I just think you're going to make birdie on average more from there than you will with the wedge.
I told Brady came by my shop afterwards, and I told him that I knew on, I think it was hole 11, which would have been a hole 2 for us, when we had maybe 75 yards in, and y'all had, with the wind against you, 216 or something.
Oh, it's awful.
And you hit it to 10 feet, and we hit it 10 feet. I told Brady, I said, the tee box doesn't matter because Michael's just hitting it as close as we are.
He was on all day.
Dude, some of those par 4s with the wind, it was over 200 yards that you and Jay.
Oh, I was actually getting really frustrated because that golf course is not designed to play that long. And I think it's great that it is that long. And when there's no wind and it's firm out, it's a great test. You're going to hit some mid irons in, you're going to hit some wedges in. But if you catch a north wind out there on a day where it's not 90 degrees and firm, it plays really, really long especially on that back nine. I mean, you get, we hit 4 iron into 11. I hit 2 iron into 14. I hit 2 iron into 16. But then you get, 2 par 4s at the same time that are drivable, basically.
Yeah,
I say drivable. Number 13 is drivable, and then number 18, which was our 9th hole, that hole becomes really short. I had, 50 yards in, and I could have probably taken it a little farther left. So, that's where you get the big swings out there versus if you just have a 5 mile an hour wind, it plays like a pretty true golf course. Your hole that's 460 is going to play 460. You're going to hit driver, and you're going to have 7 or 8 iron in versus 2.
I told Brady about the potential match. I don't know if you've already talked about it. Matchup with us versus you and Connor. We're definitely going to need some tee boxes in that match.
That would be so much fun. I'm all for it. We'll have to figure out with Connor what his schedule looks like. I've probably got a little more availability than him. Uh-huh. And it's also easy. I've got family in Athens, so I can go up there and stay whenever I want versus I guess when he gets done with school, he'll go to Canada Q school. And then depending on how that goes, that'll kind of dictate where he'll be. But as far as I know, I think he's planning to go back to Virginia. I haven't talked to him in a couple weeks, but man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I think didn't you say the course there, the tips are closer to 8,000 yards, so it'd be a real battle.
Not quite, but I mean it plays probably 73.5 at the UGA course, and I think they've got 5 sets of tees.
That's what we need. We need to be at 5, y'all at 1.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I guess have you already talked about like the tournaments you're playing in and stuff coming up?
No, so like I'm actually leaving tomorrow for a tournament up in Tallahassee. So that's another one on the Emerald Coast Golf Tour. So we play from basically, I'll say South Mississippi all the way over to Tallahassee and as far north as Birmingham. And so I'll play in that in Tallahassee this week. That's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then I've got my US Open local coming up 2 weeks after that. I think it's April 24th. That's going to be over in Pensacola. And then there's going to be another event in Niceville, so about an hour and a half from me on that Emerald Coast Tour. So kind of sticking to that. It's just the easiest in terms of travel and, not too expensive, but you still get good purses and good competition. So, there's definitely more tours out there and probably tours that, play a little bit better golf courses. Not always, but probably have a mix of some better golf courses and some bigger fields. But I've also looked at it as I haven't won one of these yet, and that's my goal this year is to get a win. And until I start feeling like playing in them is not making me any better, I'm going to continue to do it.
Do you have
We're
a coach
counting
right
on you
now?
for the Masters 2026 is our goal for you.
I would love to be there. Count me in.
Do you have a coach you work with?
So that's a great question. I do. His name is David Dankmeyer. He played golf at Penn State and lives in Nashville now. He was at the same golf course that I was at growing up. And he's not a swing coach. He's just a golfer. And he played in the same men's group that I played in with my dad. And we got to, I guess it was COVID, and I was out there practicing one day, and I hadn't been playing very good. And he came up to me, and we were good friends at this point. So, like, he wasn't coming up to me out of the blue. But he's like, hey, we've got all this time now. You don't know what you're playing in next because everything was shut down. We didn't know if we were ever going to play golf again. And so he said, I want to work on some things with you if you're down for it. And I was like, well, sure. Like, you know what you're talking about. Like, let's do it. And we've been working together ever since. So he's living in Nashville, just had twin boys, I think 2 years ago. And so his life's been crazy the last 2 years, but it's been great. I can text him at 11 o'clock at night and send him a swing video and say, hey, what do you think? And he's going to tell me the same thing every time because it's always the same thing. But we're able to just kind of banter back and forth about it. And, it's been great because, again, I've got access to him whenever I want. And he's not trying to make any money off of it. He's just doing it because he likes it and it's entertaining to him and it gives him something to kind of root for.
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody what you're playing as far as like what's in the bag, what ball?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with the driver. I've got the Titleist TSR2. I've had that in the bag since the fall that I was in Athens. So going on about a year and a half. I've got a TaylorMade Stealth 2 3-wood. And then I've got the old TaylorMade P790 like UDI 2 iron. I've had that thing since high school. Like I just won't get rid of it. I mean, it's got no grooves left. The shaft's about to break in half, but it's still going straight. I've got PXG, I guess it's the 04 through 9 iron. So they've been great to me. I think they're great irons. I'm on my second set of them. They've been awesome. And then I've got PXG pitching wedge, 50 degree, 54 degree, 58 degree.
Is there yeah, you got that custom bed. Is it a Bedinardi?
It is. So I had that made when I was at Vandy. I flew up there over winter break. Just flew up there for the day. Left Nashville, flew up there on the first flight, went to their studio in Chicago. They got me dialed in and sent it to me, and man, it's been awesome.
Now, you don't have to say, if you had a dream brand call you and want to fit you driver through putter, is there one you want more than the other, or are you just for what's going to help you win?
That's a good question. I mean, I'll always, like, if I have the choice, I'll always play whatever I feel is going to be best for me. Now, if I had a company say that they were going to sign me to a contract, but I had to play all 14 clubs, I think the big two that you would think would be TaylorMade and Titleist. I think they've got overall, like, driver through putter, the best lineups out of any of the club manufacturers. And I think they're interchangeable. I think for some guys, TaylorMade's going to be better. For some guys, Titleist is going to be better. And they can pretty much get the look of the stuff kind of however you like it, especially with the irons and the wedges. Like, woods are going to be a little bit tougher because they're just going to have different shapes, and you can't go in there and grind them down and fool with that stuff too much. But it would be one of those two if I had to play driver through putter for sure.
No thought of Callaway either.
Oh, I didn't think about Callaway.
I feel like
Callaway,
for us,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like Titleist is an old school, high level brand. And I don't think any of us have any Titleist clubs at all.
So
What do you got?
I'm glad you
got your
mentioned
wedges?
Callaway. Like, I've never played a Callaway club in my life. Like, I've got a Callaway driver here. I think it's the Paradigm, and like, it's really good, but it's just as good as the Titleist that I'm hitting. And I was in the Titleist before I got fit for the Callaway, so like, I wasn't really going to switch unless it was going to be so much better. And I don't know. I just think, Titleist, they've stayed the same for so long. Like, their drivers have gotten a lot better, but in terms of the look and feel of their irons and wedges, like, they've stuck to what's worked, and they've got a great product. And so does TaylorMade. TaylorMade's figured it out with the irons, and obviously they've got great woods, and they're going to continue to innovate and develop new stuff, but they're not going to get away from what's made them great in the first place.
What's the ball?
I'm playing the Pro V1X, and I don't really know the difference in them now, but it's what I've played. It seems to work all right. I don't have any major complaints about it, so that's what I'll keep rolling with. And I want to say the Pro V1 now is supposed to spin less than the Pro V1X. I may be wrong there. They've gone back and forth so many times that it's just hard to keep track of. But I vividly remember Titleist came to Nashville one day to do like a ball fitting for the guys at Vandy. And I remember the numbers being pretty similar, but you get around the greens, whether you're putting or chipping, and the Pro V1 just felt like a marshmallow. And like, it's good because it'll spin, but for some reason, like, I just thought it was going to be a lot harder to control my distance with it. Like, I like to have like, my wedges are super firm. I like to have a firm feel. Now, I want it to be solid, but I like a little bit of click in there and not just like feeling like you're hitting a bouncy ball, if that makes sense.
I think it was hole 8 on the course, 17 for us in our match. I think you let Jay go first so you could really get what on that hole made you feel like you could just go after it like you did, because you put a little extra oomph in that drive.
Well, he hit the fairway, so it made it really easy on me. But that hole actually fits my eye really well. I like to hit a little cut with the driver, and with it being into the wind like that, I typically would hit 3-wood there. I probably would have hit 3-wood there in a golf tournament, but just with him being in the fairway and it not really mattering if I hit it in the neighborhood somewhere, like, I was just going to let it go. And a lot of times when you're in a situation like that and you can just let it go, you hit it great.
Yeah.
But typically that's a 2-iron, and if it's into the wind a little bit, it'll be 3-wood. But with it being cold, I say it was cold. It wasn't hot, but it wasn't cold. And then into the wind pretty good. I just let it eat.
That was the whole thing.
We talked about it on the way back, how much control you had of it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you never seemed off balance. It was just, you wanted to put more on it, you did. You wanted to take something off, you did. And it was same swing every time. Rory, like, you just smooth.
I think it's been really good to be down in Florida for the last year. I've really had to learn how to develop off-speed shots, especially with my irons. Like, it's a little bit different. Like, if you're going to hit driver, like, you might as well swing at it. Like, if you're not going to swing at it, like, hit a 2-iron or hit a 3-wood out there. Just get something in play. But with the irons and how heavy the wind is down here, like, if I was into a 10-mile-an-hour wind in Nashville or Athens, it's probably one club. But like, down here, I'm hitting 7-irons from like 150 yards into the wind. But like, you just have to learn how to shape it, and how, sometimes you've got to hit it high to take the 20 yards off of it. Sometimes you've got to hit it low to have a chance of getting it there. And so, like, figuring out how to do all of that and control your speed through the ball has been like critical to having any sort of success down here. Because if you can't control your ball in the wind in Florida, you're not going to have any success. So that's
Especially at
probably
Bay Point.
that's the biggest thing I've learned down here and I just remember being so surprised. Like I'd get up to, number one and I'd have like 140 yards in and it'd be a little bit into the wind. And I'd be like, okay, it's just a good 9-iron. And like, I was never getting it there ever. Now I'm like, do I hit 7 or do I hit 8? Like I never would have been like that back in Nashville or Athens just because the ball went further up there. It got through the air a little bit better and it's just different down here.
The hole we were just talking about, I'm still ready for the world to see Jay's walk. It's probably the nastiest walk-in I've ever witnessed in my life. I still don't know if he walked it in early because he knew he was dropping or if he thought he missed it and he was walking after
It was so bad. It was, I mean, and you go back and watch that putt and like it's going like this.
Yeah.
Like I was like, he made it, then he missed it. I was like, oh, he missed it left. No, he missed it right. Oh my God, it went in.
And then it went, yeah. And Zach in the footage, Zach's picking the camera up, ready to like get after Jay because Jay, he's like,
I was going straight for his face for the reaction,
and then he sinks it. It's gonna be such a good video. I'm ready for it to come out and everybody.
I'm excited for it. It's gonna be great.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and everything. We're gonna have to get that match planned out. We'd love to come up to Athens, and that's kind of our goal. Some of the college golfers like yourself we're having on the podcast. A lot of them have said we could come play a match with them. We'd love to come do it. So
that'd be great. Well, this may be trying to do too much. I don't know. Athens gets pretty hectic on game day weekends, but y'all come up for a football game. Come up for the Auburn game. Who's the Auburn fan?
I will. I'm an Auburn fan.
Come up for the Auburn game, and we can make a video on a Friday afternoon. Go to the game on Saturday, and
you already know the outcome.
Kill two birds with one stone.
You don't even have to go to the Auburn game to know the outcome of that one.
You so dumb.
Hey, I was in Auburn for the game last year, and I was worried. Well, y'all were beating us for the whole game.
It never ends the way we want it, Dan. I've been come to terms with it. It's like my golf game. I'll be okay for a couple holes, and the next thing you know, I'm like, why do I bother? Why try?
That's just how it goes.
Yeah. Well, did y'all have any more questions, Zach, Brady?
Yeah, I wanted to ask top 3 courses in Nashville. I've played. I've been up there and played a handful of them, and then my buddy works at Belle Meade, but I haven't gotten to play it yet. I know Vandy gets to play Belle Meade a lot.
Who's your buddy at Belle Meade?
Colin Nash.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure he's a caddy there or works
gotcha.
as a caddy.
I mean, I think number one's got to be Golf Club of Tennessee. And, I consider that Nashville. It's 35 minutes outside of town. But, if you live in Nashville and want to be a member at the best golf course, you're going to join out there.
Yeah. So,
Golf Club of Tennessee is going to be number one. I love Belle Meade. I think it's a fun golf course to play. It's always in pretty good shape. I mean, when the season's right, it's in great shape. But, year-round, it's always in pretty good shape. And then I think Hillwood is also really good. I think Belle Meade and Hillwood are interchangeable. Hillwood's going to be a lot harder, I think, and it's just a different style of golf, but it's another one that's the greens are always perfect. And they've got Bermuda greens versus Belle Meade's got bent greens, but just 2 really, really good golf courses. And then, I mean, you've got to mix in, now I'm getting into more than 3 here, but Vanderbilt Legends Club was great. We had 36 holes out there. They do a great job. The Grove is another really, really good one down there in kind of between Nashville and Murfreesboro. But there's a lot of good golf up there now, and they've done a lot of work up at Old Hickory. That's a fun golf course to play.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about that course.
I guess they've gotten John Daly and Kid Rock and some other people involved out there, and they've done a great job with it. So a lot of good golf to be played in Nashville.
They're all trying to get out of what's the Troubadour? That's where all the country music singers go to play.
For sure. And that place, I've gotten to go out there one time, and it's really cool, but it's just a little different. It's just, I mean, it's super exclusive,
yeah.
And that's just kind of how it is. But I mean, super fun to go play. You can go play out there in shorts and a t-shirt, and they got food for you every couple holes, and you can play a 7-some if you want to. You can play with 14 people in your group if you want to. So it's a lot of fun. I mean, it feels like fantasy land, but it's hard to get out these days.
Have you played Sweetens Cove?
So I haven't, and I've driven past it 100 times. When I was living in Nashville, and then I had grandparents in Athens, I have a girlfriend in Atlanta, and then obviously was at Georgia for a year. I've driven through there 100 times. And you can see it from the interstate, especially in the fall and winter when the trees don't have any leaves. And I've always said, one day I'm going to just stop on my way home, just go walk 9 holes by myself and just do it. And I've never done it.
We want
It's on my list to get to because I think it's like 3 hours from here. But everything I read says all the passes to play sell out instantly.
So
it's like a lottery to play.
Huh.
well, it's like a day pass. You buy a day pass and you literally just play as many holes you can, hang out all day, and they only sell so many per day.
See, like, I think that would be awesome. I think you've got to take a couple of buddies down there with you or up there for y'all and just go do it for the entire day. And I think that's probably why I've never like stopped just to go walk 9 holes by myself. Just I feel like you lose. Like if it was 18 holes, I may stop and go play it by myself if it was, as great as everybody says it is, which I'm sure it is. But like I'm just not going to go walk 9 holes by myself.
Yeah.
Look, you just drive up to LaGrange, hop in the truck, and then just be a part of our 5, 6
all
song.
go up there together.
That'd be awesome. I'd love it.
Hey,
We'll just use your drive, and then we'll shamble.
Tight little draw every drive. Hey, we'll end with who do you got taking the Masters in 2 weeks or 1 week?
Brooks.
There's so many people that could win. I mean, I think you got
picking.
Brooks can win. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler can win. John Rahm can win.
Xander.
I don't know. Like
they said, he's one of the betting favorites for it right now.
I just feel like he's got to win more before that comes.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's got the game. He's got plenty of talent to do it. He's just got to get hot. But like I think there's some guys. Again, Brooks, Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm. I want to say Rory. I think he's due. I think he's. You've watched all this stuff on Full Swing. Like, he had a lot going on in his life last year. He's going to come back. I think he's refreshed. He played good at the U.S. Open last year. I just think his game's trending in the right direction. He was kind of in the mix a little bit at the Players, like struggled a little bit, but I don't know. I think he's going to be ready.
I want to see Bryson put on a jacket.
Ugh.
I think that'd be really cool. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, I guess you can. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of game you have. Like, you can win out there. I mean, Zach Johnson's won out there. Like, you don't have to be a bomber, but like, I don't know. It's a great question. I think anybody in the field can win it. Honestly, it's just a matter of who gets hot and who can deal with, the pressure of it for 4 days. Because you don't really see. I feel like too many guys come from way, way, way behind. Like most of the guys that win it are kind of up there all week long.
Early.
And, can you deal with the media and the thought of like, oh, I could put a green jacket on Sunday? Like, can you deal with that for a week? Because that's exhausting to think about.
Yeah.
The only bad part about it is it'll have an asterisk because Taylor Gooch isn't in the field. So it's not really the best of the best.
Is he not? I haven't really been keeping up.
He's so dumb.
He said, whose game was it that somebody won? He's like, well, it's not the best of the best because I'm not there. So it's really an asterisk on it.
It was something responding to Rory, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know. All that drama.
So you heard it here. Michael Shears is going with Rory for the Masters pick 2024.
That's what we'll go with. I like it. I think he's ready.
Let's see. We appreciate you coming on, Michael, and we're gonna get that plan out for sure. One way or another, we're coming to Athens. We're gonna get a match.
Perfect. That'd be great, man. I appreciate y'all having me. I love doing this stuff. So anytime y'all want me back, I'll come back and do it again.
For sure.
No, that sounds great.
We're trying to come back to Bay Point again so we can get a rematch.
Come on, let's do it. Y'all come down when it's nice and warm out and hopefully not as much wind.
Yeah, that's what we're
I'll be down in June. Me, you, and Jay are going to get around in June when I come down for the family vacation.
Perfect.
I told him we could go to, is it Whispering Woods or Whispering something?
No, it's Windswept Dunes.
Yeah, that's it.
I've never played it, but I've heard it's good. I've heard it's like 8,000 yards long.
Oh.
We'll do a 3-man scramble. That's my favorite type.
Perfect.
All right, man. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Hey. No, thank you.
All right, y'all have a great night.
You too.
We back. That was Michael Shears from Bandy for a couple years. Georgia at the end. Exclusive wind controller down at Bay Point.
Exclusive. How good do you have to be to play at Vandy and then just walk on to Georgia for a year? I guess as good as Michael is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was a stick.
Yeah.
You'll see it on camera, Brady, but he was awesome.
Not what we expected.
only
He
imagine.
said he found a
I was
teammate.
hyping him up to Joni. Joni was asking like how good he was, and I was like, "There's so many levels to it."
Mm-hmm.
I said, and he's on the way up.
Yeah.
That Q school qualifier, I was looking at his rounds. He shot. He actually won the qualifier, which he said at the beginning of the podcast when I asked him about it. But he didn't mention what he won it with. Through 3 rounds, he was 17 under par.
I could see it.
That's about what he felt. It felt like at Bay Point
His
against him.
His putting's so good. I watched footage back, and like when I line my ball up to putt it, and I putt it. Me and Zach were talking about this the Wednesday before Bay Point. Even if I make it, that line doesn't roll over like it's supposed to. It's kind of like wobbly because I know I didn't hit it good. And I watched some of his when he lined up and he putt. You can see the black line on his ball just in the same, like staying end over end like it's supposed to. I said, "Well,
It's probably just a difference in practicing all the time."
Yeah, that's all
because
he
you
does.
have to you're making a career out of it, as opposed to we'll go hit the range, and roll a couple,
and then go straight
and
to
that's
the
about it.
Well, it's time to make these picks. We coming off last week. Listen, I'm excited because there was a point a few weeks ago I was almost 100 strokes behind Mitchell, and I'm only 20 strokes down now on that boy. So we're coming into it this week before the Masters at the Valero Texas Open in San Antonio, Texas.
I'm stretching my lead. I just want
I was
that to
about
be
to
known.
say second to first place is getting a big gap in it right now. I'm falling backwards.
I have no even eyes on first place. I'm just chasing down. I don't have to be the fastest. I just got to be faster than Mitchell.
And that might be easy at this point.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get him. So let's get into our picks for this week. Valero Texas Open coming off a big week. Scotty second, missing a 4-footer to force a playoff.
I feel that, Scotty. I feel that.
When you see Scotty play, it's amazing how good he's been for so long. And I wish I was into golf when Tiger was doing this because it probably blew my mind even more. But our modern day era right now, like how many years he's just on top.
Everybody in the golf media has compared Scotty like this year to like prime 2006 Tiger. Like every statistic is just like kind of mirroring what Tiger did, which is pretty insane. I mean, but he's got to keep it up for like 10 more years to.
Really, 10 years straight.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
someone posted a stat the other day that said Tiger was on the betting odds. He was more likely to win than he was to finish outside the top 9 for any round. I was like, that's wild. It was like 34% chance to win and to 32% chance to finish outside the top 9.
That man's for
Different
sure.
levels.
Scotty's for sure getting a major this year. There's just no way he doesn't win one, I don't think. So going into our picks this week, the LPGA is gonna be a little different. We're gonna wait until it's a match play event. We're gonna wait till it's the 16, I believe, and make our picks from there. So there won't be any picks posted this week until then, I guess. And then for the PGA, I think he's getting primed this week, and next week he's going to show out. He's not going to win it. He's going to be in the top 10 next week, but this week he's going to be on fire. Give me Ricky Fowler.
I'm going with the Masters winner from 2 years ago, the first real appreciator of the course, Hideki.
You got to do the bow. You got to bow to the.
I know. I wish I would have got the shirt when Barcel did it of the caddy bowing.
Caddy bowing.
Yeah.
I also think that my pick for this week is gonna probably end up giving all he's got this week, and then next week he's gonna just again
fall apart.
You don't want to pick him
but
back and call him for back-to-back weeks, lock him in.
Yeah, no, I can't go back to back with him. But I think how I said it in the group chat was probably the best way to describe his name. Rory Schmackelroy.
That's him.
And Mitch picked Ludwig Oberg.
It might be an easy dub for him, honestly.
Yeah, these are those kind of tournaments that guys like that kind of just shine. Hey, did you see TikTok? Somebody posted a video of Tony walking down the fairway, and he scratches his booty and does a quick sniff, and somebody comments and tags his wife. You know, she's very active on TikTok. It was like, what is your man doing? And she actually responded. It was just her laughing. But I was like, she's always on TikTok. That's so funny that somebody caught him doing that.
That's my favorite family-friendly TikTok channel.
I know she made. Oh, and then the PGA posted that clip about who's the best dressed on tour. And nobody said Tony. And she commented on it. She's like, "Excuse me."
I pick his clothes.
Yeah, that's wild. So those are our picks for the week. Let's see. I may have the score sheet already. I do. Zach's in first place at 323 under par. Brady's in second at 260, so he's 63 off the lead. Mitch is in third at 216, so he's 107 off the lead. And then I am 194. I'm 129 off the lead. So I'm 20 behind Mitch.
Sheesh.
Mitch is 44 behind Brady. So I'm just trying to catch Mitch. And then Brady can have second. I'm just looking for a podium finish pretty much.
I don't need any more cuts. That's all I don't need.
There's a lot of
I'm
golf.
trying to stretch this thing out. I'm trying to stretch my legs.
But there's a lot of golf left.
Points.
Oh, yeah, double points next week. So that means if your person gets cut next week, is that 20?
I would think so.
Jeez.
I would think it has to be.
Got to be. Everything's got to be doubled, not just
Yeah,
I went ahead and just put my pick in for next week.
You already locked? Oh, my gosh.
I'm locked in. Same as last year. I think he's due.
What's crazy, I think for next week, I'm making an early pick. I kind of disagreed with Brady said. I think I'm going with Rory next week. I think
I'm putting it in. You locking it in?
No, let me have time to ponder it. But I think that
you ain't serious.
all this is off his shoulders now. Kind of
you ain't standing on business.
Put him in. Put him in right now. Lock it in right now. Rory McIlroy. Put it
There's
in.
no changes.
You ain't going to tell me I'm not standing on business. Put it in. Oh, I just saw you put him in. I'm a little nervous now.
He's in there.
Unless he gets injured before then and he's a DNF, I'm going to change it before Thursday. I'm not going to leave him in the lineup.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You'll see him if he's there.
He may be pretending to be hurt because he knows he's not going to win it. So maybe walking around with like a taped up wrist and like, oh, I'm not going to perform.
Oh, so people think he's down.
Yeah. You know, that's how it is. But that's our picks, boys. Let us know who y'all got winning it. Coming up from the channel, we've got the video of Jay coming up. It's going to be a fun video. And the boys got invited out to Highland Park, which we had a Zoom call with them today. And we're going to document a little bit of the Hickory Major Championship out there, we think. Play a little golf. Next week, here on the pod, is it next week we have Florida State's own Luke Clinton on?
Clinton, if he'll respond.
If he'll respond. So
he was very responsive, and then I haven't gotten any responses.
Well, tune in next week just in case. We've been in the SEC. Our guy branched us out. We're going to the ACC now. So that'll be it for the pod. We'll see y'all for next time.
The Tennessee guy willing.
Oh, yeah.
And then 4 weeks from now, 100.
Yeah, episode 100 is going down. We've already talked to Ann. We're trying to get the date and everything finalized with Ann. And so make plans to show up to Moon Golf. Some way we're going to have some kind of competition. It's just going to be fun. Come hang out.
We talked about it earlier. We believe it's going to be a closest to the pin for 250.
Mm-hmm.
Then a putting challenge on that line for that line we did the Vice Golf roll on.
The one that looks dead straight but is not dead straight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
For 250, you gotta putt, and there's 100 putters you can choose from.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe she'll match it.
That's what I'm hoping.
I'm hoping we can. I'm a little nervous about us putting out that much money. Maybe Ann, we need you to match it, Ann. But no, that's good. It's gonna be a fun one. Go check it out. If anything, the boys will be recording live. So hey, you know what we can do? Instead of the podcast time, we just have our wireless mics on, and that way we don't have to hold it. And we can be walking around.
Oh yeah. You just mic up.
Somebody will have to take our mic like that.
I thought about that.
You just lean in.
Yeah. But that way we're not restricted by a mic cable because we're wireless.
Yeah.
We can be like, hey, we can have the GoPro set up with the button, one at the thing, and you can sit.
Oh yeah, just pick up all the comms at once.
Yeah. So I could be over like at the close to the hole, close to the pin, a guy shoots and say, all right, now I'm going to send you over to the putting green, and it goes over one of you guys in the putting green with the GoPro. All right, Johnny, we're over here now, and he's got a 4-footer for $250. So come check it out. Episode 100 is coming up. See you guys next time.
Peace.